we just wanted to take a minute. We're excited to have you all here today as we get started on our presentation. But I did want to take a minute to just kick it off and introduce some of our speakers, or do introductions of our speakers this morning. Introducing myself, I'm Kim Shaw. I am the show director for Newtopia Now. We are excited to have you all joining us, and excited to provide more information around Newtopia today. And I'll pass it over to Katie Golding.
Hi, everyone. Welcome. I'm Katie Golding. I'm the Newtopia Now sales director. So thank you all for taking some time to talk about Newtopia Now. Really excited to have you all here. And I'll hand it over to Ashley.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. My name is Ashley Poggenstecker. I am our event specialist for Newtopia Now, and really excited to dive in and hopefully answer everyone's questions and get them ready for joining us in Denver, Colorado in August.
Awesome. Thank you, Ashley. Jess, are you back? Do you have a...
That is
not.
Let's see.
Oh, there you are.
I can hear you.
Hear me now?
Yep, we can hear you. We're back in business.
It's the fancy mic. That's the lesson here. The fancy mic has always been my friend, but apparently not today. Well, thanks, guys. Thanks for jumping in. And hi, everyone. It's so nice to see you all here. We appreciate you being here. And now that you've gotten to meet the team who you'll be hearing from today, we can jump in. So we're going to start with a presentation. We really want to dig into the details of Newtopia Now. We're getting a lot of questions about it, and we've had the opportunity to connect with so many members of the community to share the vision behind this event. And we also know that because it's new, there are questions. So our goal today is to make sure that no question goes unanswered. And after our presentation, we're going to break into some breakout rooms. So if you're a retailer, a brand, an investor, or a service provider, we have a room for you where you'll be meeting with us and other members of our team to really explore what this event means specifically for you. So what makes Newtopia Now unique? This is obviously something that's been really important to us as we've crafted this new event, wanting it to be something that truly will surprise and delight our community, but more importantly, be about deepening the relationships and the connections that you all make, whether it be at Expo West or through other events and aspects of your business. How can you take those relationships further? And how can we create an event that really is more intimate and experiential and allows you to do that in very unique ways? So that is how we crafted this, to create a really memorable setting for these business connections to flourish. I wanted to share this because it shows some of the great, exciting momentum that we're getting around Newtopia Now. I love this from Brody Burke, who is the Forager team manager at Sprouts Farmers Market. He'll be not only at the event with his whole team, but he'll also be participating in programming. Here's what he had to say about it. We have exhibitors who are so excited, and certainly our retailers. So if you look here, we have key retailers from Whole Foods, from Bristol Farms, from Sprouts Farmers Market. If you read through these quotes, I certainly will not read through all of them, but the common denominators are that these retailers are showing up expecting to make one-on-one connections, to have meetings, to discover new things, and to really embrace the fact that this is an intimate environment that allows for those one-on-one connections. And we'll be talking about all of the different ways that we're facilitating those in just a moment. So I get a lot of questions about who this event is for. And the answer is it really is for everyone, but the objectives are going to be slightly different and the experience is going to be slightly different. So of course, for buyers, it's about discovering their next best-selling conscious products. We've really created an environment that elevates emerging brands, levels the playing field, and allows those emerging brands to get in front of retailers. And that's what our buyers are really excited about. So of course, emerging brands, this will help launch their businesses and help them make the right connections. And established brands also have a really exciting opportunity to have direct lines of communication to retailers. So they're saying, we really want to strengthen those partnerships and better understand our retailers and help them better understand us. And so Newtopia Now has created an environment where that can really happen. And finally, our service providers and our investors. If we go back a slide, our service providers and investors, this is really about deepening connections. And we expect all members of our community to show up with a sense of curiosity and openness and really wanting to understand their partners or their prospective partners. So what does this event really look like now that we kind of have the why? And just to pause for a minute, I do want to encourage people, please put your questions in the chat. Like I said, we'll also have an opportunity to break out into more focused rooms, but any questions that you have, put them in the chat or as a Q&A, and I'll make sure that we're looking at those as we go through. So what does the Newtopia Now experience look like, Kim?
Thank you, Jess. So yeah, I'm going to take a minute here just to kind of do a high-level overview of the schedule to give you kind of what each day looks like. But I do want to note that we are going to go into more detail on these events throughout the presentation. So maybe hold off on some questions as we kind of get further along in the presentation. So Sunday is what really kicks off the event. So we kick it off with, we have our community experiences. Those experiences are just some unique events that we have another way to make connections. And they also kind of give you a great taste of the city of Denver and the cool city that we are having this event in. So we kick it off at noon on Sunday. We have our Meow Wolf tour. We have our Sustainable Futures Community Engagement at CSU Spur. We also then have our Conscious Connections Plus meetings. And you'll hear me reference that Conscious Connections Plus and Conscious Connections a little bit throughout this presentation. I would note that Conscious Connections Plus is that is a matchmaking program that is really offered to our hosted buyers at the event. And it's just it's a program that gives a little more of a high touch curated matchmaking that is done for them. So those meetings will also start on Sunday. And then Sunday night, we are going to have an awesome neighborhood networking night reception. And it's in partnership with Naturally Network. It'll be live music. We'll have some networking activities, food and beverage, and it'll be in this awesome new location at the Colorado Convention Center. It's called the Bluebird Ballroom. So it is on the rooftop of the convention center, beautiful views of the mountains in Colorado. So it's definitely worth getting in early and attending that reception. Then on Monday, we have our show floor hours are going to be from 10 to 5. Content is happening throughout those hours. So, and Jess will go more into that, but there is always content happening various places of the show floor during that 10 to 5 range. We also have the Conscious Connections meetings happening. That is the matchmaking that is happening through our event platform, which I will talk about a little bit further later. We also have these industry meetups and dine around dinners that are happening on Monday night. And those dine around dinners are invite only, but if you have questions and want to participate, definitely reach out to Jess Rubino on those. On Tuesday, we have a morning workout at 7:30 in the morning. That will also be up in that new area on Bluebird outside. That's going to be a great way to start the day. We have our show floor opening again at 10 a.m. and going to 5. Show floor tours we have starting at 10. Those are, you do need to sign up for them. If you have any questions about that, you can contact Jess. And then we also on Tuesday, and I didn't mention this on Monday, Monday and Tuesday, we have these speed networking for retailers and investors. So I'll provide a little more detail. And then Wednesday is the last day of the event. We will have 2 more of those community experiences happening that day. We have Zen Among the Rocks, which is yoga at Red Rocks Amphitheater. Amazing, it's kind of on the list to see in Colorado. So you definitely want to check that out if you're going to be at Newtopia. So we have that, and then we have Empowering Women in CPG, which will be held at a local venue in Denver. All of those will be ending at noon on Wednesday, just to give you kind of the time frame of that. So lots to do throughout the event. And as I said, we'll get into more detail about some of these, but I will pass this back over to Jess.
Thanks, Kim. And if anyone has questions on those experiences, please do share them. And like Kim said, we'll go into more detail. Kim, there is one question that came up that I think would be great to address. This person said that when they went to register their booth staff badges, it said that all but one of the community experiences was sold out. Is that true? And will there be another opportunity to sign up for these events as an exhibiting brand?
Yes, we are working on adding additional slots for them at the moment. So keep your eye out, and we will be checking back to add additional slots for those experiences.
Thank you, Kim. And then Mary, I also see your comment in there, and I think that that's a great one that Katie will follow up with you about. Katie, if you look at the chat, there's the question about Stable Feed, which won the opportunity to attend. And just, I quickly looked up the company, but I think it definitely is worth more conversation to make sure that when you come, it's a really valuable experience for your specific company and what you do. So thanks for putting that in the chat. And Julia, exciting that you'll be joining us for Pilates. Okay, so go back to that other slide. I want to talk about the format of this event. So for those who hopped on a little bit late, I just want to emphasize that everything that we've done and put together with Newtopia Now is allowing brands, retailers, service providers, and investors to have access to one another in order to really deepen their relationships. So we developed our 4 neighborhoods with this in mind. The neighborhood format is something that's really innovative and unique to Newtopia Now. I know I'm very excited about it. It's extremely complementary to our market that we'll talk about in just a minute, but the neighborhood concept groups content and stages and certainly brand exhibits based on theme rather than category. So we identified these 4 themes as being those that are having the greatest influence on the CPG industry and that can really bring people together in a meaningful way. So the 4 neighborhoods that you'll find on the show floor are Represent, which is a celebration of multicultural products and diverse founders; Regenerate, which is all about planet first business models; Glow, a celebration of the future of wellness and holistic beauty; and Thrive, which is all about innovations in human health. And again, within each of these neighborhoods, you'll find a range of content, companies, and activations that are extremely exciting, and I'll show a couple of those now. So in Thrive, here's a couple of the really cool things we have happening. We have the Vitamin Shoppe CEO, Lee Wright, talking about retail and innovation trends that are shaping the future of wellness. You'll see one of our buyer side chats. Buyer side chats are where we bring retailers to the stage to talk about what they look for in brands and how you can develop partnerships with them. In Thrive, we're featuring a whole panel of executives from Whole Foods who will also be out there on the show floor meeting with brands. We also have our keynote, Dan Buettner of the Blue Zones. I've been obsessed with the Blue Zones for a long time now. And Dan Buettner hosted a show on Netflix, which is now an Emmy-nominated series, which is really, really cool. We also have a range of content in Thrive and throughout all of the neighborhoods that are specifically geared towards retailers. In Thrive specifically, we're partnering with Infra on a really great education session about how to bring new innovations into your store and do that in a way that's going to resonate with consumers. Next up, you can see what one of our cool activations in Thrive looks like. This is something that we wanted to bring through the whole event, is just have these really cool pop-ups and different activations that you can really use to experience products and connect with companies in new ways. So the Thrive Cafe is a coffee bar by morning and a mindful beverage bar by night. It gives companies the opportunity to sample their products in a cafe-like environment, and as buyers and and investors, you can really sit back, relax, and take in these products in a new type of way. Next up, we have our Regenerate neighborhood. So you can see some of the great content that we have in there. I want to call out that we have the Sprouts Forager team on that stage. And I showed some of the quotes from the Sprouts Forager team. They're really embracing this new opportunity to source for their store and to be sharing their insights as well as connecting one-on-one with brands. And we also are bringing some amazing culinary innovators to the stage and other influencers in the CPG industry. Next up, we have our Represent neighborhood, a featured session with Target and Target's Accelerator program. We also have the Stoop, which is where brands will be sharing their story and their vision for a sustainable future with our community. Fast-paced talks that'll be happening throughout the entire event, and other really important topics covered on the stage, such as our industry hot takes panel, From Legacy to Leadership, Black Culinary History and the Future of CPG. Next up, you can see I'm so excited about this. We have a kitchen on the show floor. So it's basically like our own Food Network cooking show environment where brands are going to be doing fast-paced live demos and showing what their food and ingredients are all about. And finally, we have our Glow neighborhood. We're doing our first ever conscious beauty pitch. Any company that's exhibiting in Glow is eligible for this pitch event. It's going to be a really fun, dynamic environment. The winner gets a great prize package. And as you can see here, we have a really excellent lineup of judges as part of that. We also have our other keynote. The amazing Carla Hall is going to be joining us, and she's doing a lot of great work around wellness and healthy aging. Up, we also have a salon in the Glow neighborhood. So again, showing these things because one of the big questions that's come up is, what will the environment actually look like? And so we know that as much detail as we can provide now for this first time event will really help everyone understand what the experience will be. And so this is just another great activation, one where beauty brands specifically can demo their products and show buyers and investors what they're all about in a really fun salon-inspired environment. All right, I'm going to pass it along now to talk about our curated connections portion of the event.
Awesome. Thank you, Jess. If you could go back a slide, Ashley, real quick. Thank you. So as mentioned, throughout so far, Newtopia is so focused on connections and deepening relationships. So I just wanted to review some of the ways that we are really helping to facilitate that through this event. So Conscious Connections, that is our matchmaking platform. We are ensuring connections through a data-driven process supported by Beacon Discovery. And that is our product discovery platform for natural products, brands, and retailers. And I'll go a little bit more into the process of that in a couple of slides. But then the next one we have is speed networking. These are 45-minute speed networking hours. So we have one on Monday, one on Tuesday, and they will be, the one on Monday is geared towards investors, and then Tuesday we have geared towards retailers. But similar to speed dating, investors and retailers will rotate through various 5-minute meetings with the brands. And, we will have suggested questions provided. Obviously, if you have your own questions and conversations, that's totally fine. But we'll be there to support and help navigate. We also have community meetups. These are a series of casual meetups happening on the show floor. They're really designed to spark conversation with various industry partners, and each one really targets different themes or interests in those meetups. So each of those meetups has separate topics. It's geared towards our attendees, service providers, entrepreneurs, sustainable businesses. So definitely check out the agenda to see which of those that you might want to attend and that pertains to you. And then the last one is community experiences. Those are those kind of unique Denver experiential events that I mentioned earlier, the Meow Wolf, Red Rocks. So that's just another opportunity and those are Sunday and Wednesday to make connections. And then next slide. So this I'll go into, this gives you a little more detail into when the curated connection schedules and like when things are happening. So as I mentioned, on Sunday, we have our Conscious Connections Plus meetings, and that is geared towards our hosted buyers program. We have our first meetup that I was talking about. That's the Encouraging Entrepreneurship. We also have our neighborhood networking night on Sunday night, starting at 5:30. Monday, we have, matchmaking throughout the day. So that meetings can be happening from 10 to 5 in our Conscious Connections Lounge. We also have that speed networking for the investors. That's at noon on that day. And then we have our meetup for Funding the Future. This one's presented by NCN. So great for investors to participate in that. Tuesday, more connections, matchmaking meetings. The speed networking for retailers will be at 11:30. And then the last meetup will be Positive for People and Planet for a Conscious CPG Community. So a lot happening. All of this, like I said, you should definitely check out the agenda to see more information. And then the next slide is, I just wanted to give a little more clarity into our Conscious Connections program. As I said, that's the kind of the program that is based on our matchmaking platform. So just to give you some of the steps into that process, the easy step is register for Newtopia Now, which everyone should be doing. And during that process, you will be asked 3 questions, I think 3 or 4. And those questions really help with creating those matches for you. So once you've registered, then in mid-July, you will be receiving a sign up for our Newtopia Now event app. I think brands already have access. So you definitely, if you are a brand and on this call, you should be checking out your profile and information. But as for all attendees, like I said, you will get access mid-July. Once you get access, go ahead and explore the event platform, find matches that were, like I said, based on the questions we asked during registration, and then they have been inputted into our Beacon Discovery program, and that's how those suggestions and matches are being made. So look through the matches that you've received, click on the match, explore the product, while using the Beacon Discovery. Once you click on the match, the link to Beacon will be in there, and you can kind of just explore and take your time and check things out. From there, you can create a message to connect with the brand. And also brands can connect with you, can also connect with you. So it goes both ways. Once you've kind of connected, then you can take the time to set up a meeting, and you can do those meetings in the Conscious Connections Lounge, which is on the show floor. So that's it. It's not that hard. I would say too, from a brand perspective, if you have not updated your information in Beacon, that's a key to the process. So definitely get that done and take care of that before mid-July. All right. Pass it on to
quick question.
Yeah.
And we'll add, thank you, everyone. Keep the questions coming.
Yeah.
That's why we are doing this. And there's one that's really specific to what you were sharing, Kim. And I think you may have addressed this, but I just want to say it. Are the matches driven by retailer preferences only, or will brands be matched with retailers based on the brand preferences as well?
Yes, they will. It will go both ways, correct. So brands will also receive matches.
Perfect. And then also a follow-up on that. So will brands be reaching out to the retailers? Is that what it'll look like?
They do have access to do that, correct? Yes. So it can go, they can make a connection as well as the retailers are able to make a connection.
Okay. And one, I think
that's okay.
But this is great. They're coming in fast.
Yeah, no, it's good.
Are the Conscious Connections speed networking and meetups all happening during show floor hours? And so to get the most out of the event, this person's wondering if they should have multiple people, some staffing their booth and others attending events and networking opportunities and matchmaking.
Yes, it's all happening during show floor hours. The speed networking is only at specific time, like a specific time on Monday and Tuesday. And then so yes, if you can see on this schedule, the speed networking on Monday is happening at noon. So that's noon to 12:45. And then Tuesday, we have the second one, which is 11:30. So yes, I think if you're planning to do all of it, you would want to try and bring, additional people maybe to help. But also I think you can schedule meetings outside of those speed networking hours if you're trying to do both. Because the matchmaking meetings, you can set for any time from 10 to 5 on Monday, Tuesday. So you have like a little bit of a flexibility there when you're scheduling.
Okay, awesome. A couple more. I know you did see one question that was asking about what this looks like to go into more detail on the brand side and the retailer side. We will have breakout groups for the last 20 minutes of this. And so I think that'll be a really great place to dig into the specific journey on the brand side and the retailer side. But one other question, Kim, that I think is a great one is, can the matchmaking happen at a company's booth?
Yes, you can. You do have that flexibility. I would just, the location within the platform will be the Conscious Connections Lounge. If you would like to reach out to that person individually that you're trying to set up a time with, you can invite them to your booth to also do that meeting.
Great. And do service providers have access to the match process?
They do have access, yes.
And I also saw some questions. We'll get into this in just a couple of minutes of who's coming, the types of brands, the number of brands. And so in just a couple of minutes, we'll really look at that and share some of the companies that are coming, as well as the profiles of the types of companies who will be there. So thanks, everyone, for your questions. We will get to the rest of them soon.
Awesome. Yeah. I'll jump in now a little bit more about, again, these community experiences and just other ways off the trade show floor to get involved in Newtopia Now. So as we spoke about the different community experiences, those will be happening 2 on Sunday and then 2 on Wednesday. And I've seen a lot happening in the chat about the community experiences, and we're so excited that these were as popular as we were hoping. So definitely keep an eye out. We'll be posting a lot more of once we add numbers for registration, and you can add these on for your booth in case, the numbers have sold out. They are a first come, first served basis, but we're really excited to be able to add a little bit more with all the interest that we got in our community experiences. Next up, I'm really excited to talk about the market, and this is a great opportunity included with our exhibiting booth packages to be able to represent your brand and have your brand shown, not just only at your booth. So with the market, everyone is allowed to have their product showcase. And this is really set up for our retailers and buyers to be able to walk through, see what category your flagship product aligns with. That is how you're going to, in your beacon profile, your flagship item, this is the flagship item that will be in the market. And along with that, we'll have a great QR code where you'll be able to scan and see all the different activations a brand is involved in. And so scanning the QR code through our event app platform, you can see if they have maybe a stoop talk or different stage presence they might be involved in, other activities they're joining. And so there's another way to know what a brand is doing, know what a service provider is doing, and find them, again, just outside of that trade show floor to be able to connect. Our other QR code is going to send you right into the Beacon profile page. And so this is how you'll be able to receive all the details about this flagship item. And so maybe there's different certifications you're looking for. All of that will be in their Beacon profile, which is really, really easy and helpful. And my favorite is getting to show what our market looks like, because again, we realized nobody, we've been talking so much about Newtopia Now, and we're finally getting some of these images back. And so this is really set up to look exactly like a grocery store, a retailer store. We're really excited to have everyone be able to identify what their flagship product category should be in. This is how it's going to be set up. There's going to be a lot of room for networking and mingling. And the best part is that this is all going to be set up for our opening night reception on Sunday. So definitely don't forget to come by the market on Sunday night when we're opening everything up. With that, I am going to pass it over now to Katie.
Thanks, Ashley. A lot of great information. Thanks, everybody. Addressing now, like how brands can get involved with Newtopia. So when we were doing our research about putting Newtopia together, we were very focused on the buyer feedback initially, what would get them to the show, what kinds of problems are they trying to solve for. Feedback from the buyer, our buyer audience told us that they really are looking for brands be able to experience the brands with multiple touch points along with that one-to-one connection. So we really formed the brand participation with that in mind. So every brand has a booth, which is fully furnished, an activation, which is a sponsorship, the market flagship product that Ashley just talked about, and then the one-to-one matchmaking and networking. And so we bucketed the participation for sponsorship in these three areas, really based on what the brand goals are. So, and I'll also say, really a compliment to West in terms of Expo West, in terms of brands really asking us, can we do these types of sponsorships? So we can at Newtopia, and we're really excited to do it. So thought leadership opportunities would be an opportunity to speak, or a product spotlight, or a guided buyer tour. We're actually bringing the buyers to your booth. Brand awareness would be an opportunity to put your name in lights with graphics or billboards or press releases. And then sampling, which is a secondary sampling opportunity. So we've included all really great sampling opportunities in different areas. Again, based on that buyer feedback, they're really looking to experience the brands in a lot of different ways. So Ashley, can we go to the next one? Yeah, thank you. So a little more detail about the buckets of sponsorship. So the thought leadership, one of my favorite sponsorships is the Stoop Talk. So we'll have an interview from the Stoop Talk stage, very interactive, fast paced. Brands will be able to share their brand stories or initiatives. The buyer tours, another option in thought leadership. Sponsoring some of the amazing community experiences, and really in a way to elevate that sponsor as a thought leader and a leader in the industry. Stage takeovers as well. That's okay. Next slide. We'll go fast. Brands awareness is the other option here. So we have our natural food merchandiser, advertising opportunities, the graphics, product sponsorships, and then all the sponsorships are promoted as well throughout our platforms, online, in signage, while we're there during the show and post-show in some cases. The next slide. Thank you so much. And this is the sampling options too, just a few of them. We have a lot of different options and different sort of budget ranges too. So if you want to support the yoga at Red Rocks, we have amazing sponsorship there where you can have your brand on the yoga mats, for example. The cooking demonstrations are going to be a really fun, interactive way to highlight your brand out to the audience in real time. And then we have the bespoke cafe and Thrive, where we're putting together really amazing coffee service. Brands are supporting that. And then our salon in the Glow neighborhood, which is going to be a really cool experience. People can experience these products and go get a headshot after getting glammed up in the salon. So super excited about that. And then the next, so who's coming? Now we have a full list on our website too that's constantly being added to, but it does give a full list of the buyer attendees and the brand attendees. So coming, just mentioned a few of these retailers, but we're really pulling from our ecosystem of New Hope retail in all categories. So large retailers, big box, independent, and chain. So super excited about the participation and the true excitement on their part to come and see new brands, new products. They're thrilled. And then on the brand side, we have some amazing brands and a range of emerging brands, early stage brands, and then also established brands too that are coming to support the industry, meet their customers as well. A lot of excitement around the net new as well. And then I'll put it back to Jess. We were going to see if there's any questions in the chat to address here for a few minutes.
Oh, there are. There are plenty. Thank you so much, Katie, and thanks everyone for your questions. We'll get to a lot of these now, and then in 5-10 minutes, we'll do our breakout room. So if you have something really specific to you as a retailer or a brand or an investor or service provider, we'll address those in the breakout. So a couple more questions. We certainly have a lot about matchmaking and speed networking. So one question is, how do we sign up for speed networking specifically? Kim.
Yes, we are working on getting that set up in the app, so that once the event app becomes accessible or available to you, we can you'll be able to sign up there. And then also, I think there'll be options to sign up on site.
Thank you, Kim. This question is relevant to everyone. Great question. What are the key differentiators from Expo West? And I would say, and I want everyone to jump in on this as well, but really how we're creating very focused, curated experiences that, whether it's through one-on-one matchmaking, speed networking, our dinners, our experiential networking opportunities to get the right people in smaller environments to really build those and deepen those relationships. Expo West, of course, is absolutely amazing. The Big Tent event, everyone is there. And we know that coming out of Expo West, people are also seeking, how do we take those relationships and partnerships to the next level? And so we really wanted to create an environment that would allow for that to happen, as well as just getting creative and innovative with how people do business and make connections. So I think the intimacy and the intention behind the matchmaking, curated networking, and focused experiences are really the key differentiators. Katie, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, absolutely. And I always hear from brands that they are asking for things that they've always wanted to do at West. So we have the environment at Newtopia where the sponsorships, the activations, the additional time for meetings and connections is really going to complement their time at West and be something that they'll look forward to at Newtopia every year.
Thank you, Katie. I also saw a question, and I think it was answered, but just to reiterate, every company gets one product in the market and also a booth and sponsorship package and activation. And the cool thing about the booths, which Katie talks about, is they come with a furniture package. And so I always like to think about it as the market is like a really intuitive product discovery experience for retailers, in that they can really see what's going to be on the show floor based on product category before they move into the neighborhood themes and the more thematic way of navigating companies and products. But every company does get both.
Let's see. Jess, we've had just quick to jump in. We had a couple of questions about the number of brands that are committed. Katie, what number are we?
We're at 428 brands. And we're targeting 500, and I think we'll exceed that. And then I did also see a question about how many of those are net new, and there's 50 that are net new out of that group.
Great.
And so that is brands that have not exhibited at West, but will be.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Jet. Clarifying what new to us means. Everybody is new at Newtopia.
I also just wanted to jump in. I saw a couple questions about Beacon, changing your flagship item, different things there. Make sure to jump into the brand room. We have Beacon representatives in our retailer and our brand room, but we can really dive into questions there. And then I'll gladly share some follow-up for our team members on the Beacon team that you can reach out to directly. But just know that's where we can answer those really specific questions.
You. One other question for the whole group. Does signing up for a basic booth get you any of the speed networking, community meetups, community experience, or do you pay extra? So it is all included when you sign up for a booth. at Newtopia Now. And as Kim mentioned, we'll be adding some community experiences because those are a hot commodity and have filled up quickly. And some of the other things that are invite only, such as dine-arounds, you can reach out to me if you're interested, and we'll be continuing to kind of pay attention to what's booked and make sure that everyone who's attending and all of our exhibiting brands can have a really full dynamic experience there.
And just to add on to that, the experiences, I saw somebody was asking about registration for that. That is through your registration process. So if you've already registered and wanted to change your experience, you can go back into your registration and either add that or change it. As was probably mentioned, there were some that were showing us sold out, but we are working on changing that number. But I just wanted to give everyone a heads up on that.
All right. Well, I do see a lot more questions, but I think these are probably best addressed in our breakout rooms. So please come over to one of these rooms. I just want to thank everyone so much for joining us, and thank you for all the questions. It's clear that there are a lot, and so we're happy that we were able to answer almost all of them, and we'll get to the rest of them in this next portion. So thanks, everyone, and we hope to see you in Denver. And in the meantime, we'll see you in a breakout room.